Hello, you guys. My name is Dominic Cannon, and this is my presentation on the philosophy on education. The purpose of education, for me, the purpose of education is to be educated politically and economically and teach people to solve problems unique to their community, also to understand how to lead. I think these are important because without these, you are nothing in the real world and you really don't mean nothing. And when you do learn this type of stuff, it makes you stand out in the real world and it makes you be a better person for your community, for your family, and things like that. And the role as an educator, I believe the role of an educator is to be a social justice warrior. We talked about that in chapter 21 of our book. Um, and I think that's the role of an educator because uh, the role of an educator just doesn't stop after the classroom. It continues to go on. You might be a teacher slash coach. You might be a teacher slash assistant. You might be a teacher slash something else that's outside of the classroom. And that's why you got to be a social justice warrior. My experience in education, my experience as a student has impacted me to play a bigger role than just a teacher, to give back to the youth and to be a person people will want to look up to. um, in my experience with education, most of the good connections that I had really didn't come from teachers. They came from things like PE coaches, other staff and facility that would watch us like during lunch and things of that nature. So that's why I want to play a bigger role than just the teacher, because I understand that teachers do play a huge role in education, but it's not just on the teachers; it's on everybody in the school too. And I noticed that in my experience in education, it was more so everybody around me, like the staff, facility, people like that, the maintenance and stuff. Even those people, like talking to those people outside of class during lunch, it really was nice, and it really did help my experience in school a lot. My purpose in education, my purpose in education is to change the narrative of what a teacher is and inspire people to give back to education. People have the narrative of a teacher, which is for me, it would just be like a white lady, and like that's your average teacher is a white lady. And I think that needs to change. I think more schools should hire people that look like their students. And I think if schools do this, it'll make it a more comfortable setting in classroom that students have somebody that looks like them that they can look up to and talk to and maybe be even a little bit more comfortable with, and maybe even somebody who's more culturally in tune with them will help too. And also to inspire people to get back to education. A lot of people really don't like talk high on education or praise education. You always like hear a lot of people bashing it. Oh, I dropped out of school. Oh, F school, and things like that. But I think if we got more people like rappers and celebrity to glamorize school, to give back to it, to donate to it, to love it first, to come to school, go through school, love it so much to want to come back and give back, and like a person like myself, like who had a experience to where they want to come back and give back and change, whether that's money, whether that's spending time, giving advice. I think people coming back and giving back to education can really change and shape how we look at education. Top three qualities a teacher should have. The first quality a teacher should have is good listening skills and patience. If a teacher doesn't have this, the teacher is basically cooked, because you need to be able to listen to your students and have good patience when you're working with children. Children may not always get it instantly on the first try, so you have to be repetitive and do a whole lot of muscle memory and a whole lot of reps when it comes to teaching students stuff, because they're not going to get it on the first time. And good listening skills. I say teachers need to have good listening skills, because students will tell you what's wrong with them. They might not tell you like exactly or tell you in a way like that's clear, But students, like kids, always speak up and they always give signs. So if you a teacher who got good listening quality and you patient, I think that'll help you. Next, a teacher should have good intuition and common sense. Um, this goes back to helping kids and working with kids. I think all teachers should have good intuition because all teachers should be able to look at a kid and kind of like tell where his body language is, where his mind is. Kind of look at a kid, not stereotype, but you kind of get an idea. You kind of got a good judgment, not a good judgment, but you kind of got a basic judgment of the kid, how the kid feeling today, things of that nature, and common sense. If a teacher don't have common sense to where they could just look at a child and see, okay, this child is having a rough day, this child doesn't understand this math problem, or anything like that, then the teacher, like I said, the teacher is cooked because you need these things in the classroom. Understanding that the classroom is a learning setting, but we have to understand that the classroom is still like a real world setting. So teachers cannot be robots in the classroom just teaching. No, teachers have to be able to jump out from teacher to parent to sibling. They have to be able to play multiple roles as a teacher. Last, teachers should have an open and loving heart. This one is kind of basic, but this one is really, really, really true. A lot of students don't get that love from home, that attention from home that they should be having, and this could cause students to act out in class or act out publicly at a field trip or anything because they're not getting that same attention. If teachers have open hearts and loving hearts, they can see this and help ease the situation a little bit better. When some teachers is just doing it for the money, they not really, you feel me? They're not really helping students to be the best they can be. Then that's when you will see students losing love for education. Once we lose love for the students are going to lose love for education. My philosophy on education. My philosophy on education is students must be comfortable in their environment and they should be able to use their creativity to grow. Uh, Now, Janelle Cox talked about this in one of her articles that we read. She talked about students using technology to like the best of their capabilities. And I think that's going to be a big deal coming up in the future. I think schools should learn how to manage technology a little bit better. That way, students could use it more often, because students are just going to use it more and more and more. Technology is we at the level where it's taking over. The takeover is happening. So teachers need to learn how to manage technology amongst their students. How to somehow, some way, we got to get Snapchat and TikTok involved in education. That way we can use it in the classroom because students are going to be on these apps anyway throughout the day. They're obviously addicted to these apps, addicted to scrolling. So I think education has to find a way to make its way to social media in an effective way, not just like some little ads that no. Education needs to make its way to social media in an effective way, really get to kids' attention because social media is taking over, technology is taking over. Kids are just going to use it more, so I think it'll only help if the education field really buckle down on technology, find some ways, find multiple ways for kids to create and use technology, to use AI in assignments. Because when AI drops and students start using it, and teachers try to say students can't use AI to create and things of that nature, it's just gonna start problems. It's just gonna start cheating problems. I think education needs to figure out a way where students could use AI effectively, but still somehow uh, cite it or to use it in a way where it's not cheating, but to use it effectively. I think education needs to find a way to do something like that because technology is it's on a rumble and it's just gonna keep going. Um, the next 50 years, in the next 50 years, I see students using technology a lot more and be able to manage it better. I would also try to make sure schools are funding these children's education in the correct way. So So in the next 50 years, I see obviously technology taking over in a rapid way, and I see teachers managing it better, so that way students can use technology in a way that they're comfortable and well managed in the classroom. And in the next 50 years, I want to make sure that schools are funding the children's education in the correct way. I forget what the topic was or what it was, but it was a question, and it was like, what is stopping kids? Like, what is making kids like not want to go to school, or like, what is one step that that schools need to take to like get kids revamped into the education? And I honestly think schools need to be teared down and rebuilt. I see a lot of schools. I went to the same high school as my mom, and the high school was literally the same design, painting, everything as it was when she went there. And for me, that's horrible because I don't think students can get excited in education if their setting is not exciting to look at and to be around. If you just around like dirt and muddy grass and buildings that's where pieces is chipping off, why would you want to like sit there and really learn when you're in the building and there's mold growing on the ceiling and things like that? I think I think schools should really like reevaluate how they spend their money. I think some schools should be required to get a renovation because it's really needed. Some schools are really bad and haven't been renovated in over 50 years, and which is crazy. Like, cause it's supposed to be where kids spend most of their time. When I was in high school, I spent all my day, like all day at school from like 7 to 7 because of practice and things like that. So from 7 a.m. to 7 at night, you at school, and if the school is not nice and it's dirty and it's not what you like, why would you want to be there and give your all and learn? No, you're not gonna be interested. You don't even like the school. You don't even like the way it's set up or anything of that nature. And schools, you see a lot of schools, like a lot of high schools and stuff get new jerseys every 4 years and things like that. But you don't see schools getting like new books every year. You see when you look at books, pages torn out, people writing in the books. I think schools need to really reevaluate how they spending their money and really either have have something to where we have money for education and money for sports and separate the two because the money messed up is really messing up education and the way that these schools are funding these children is really not the correct way.